I'm Sarah, and I'm doing my presentation on the uses of virtual reality and augmented reality in libraries. I originally started researching games and simulations in general and how they could be used in libraries, and I found a lot of interesting material about specifically virtual and augmented reality, and that's why I decided to focus my presentation on those topics. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. All right, some of you may be wondering, what about access? Obviously, most of us work in school libraries and we don't have unlimited budgets, and virtual reality devices seem expensive. The good news is, though, that virtual reality headsets are actually fairly affordable as long as you're able to BYOP, bring your own phone. So Google makes a virtual reality headset called Google Cardboard, and it is a headset made out of cardboard. It costs $15 on Amazon. There are some cheaper knockoffs available as well. But you can also 3D print one, or you can use a template to make your own out of cardboard. And essentially, as the picture shows, you just slide your phone right in. There are some more expensive headsets that are also bring your own phone as well. There's the Daydream, which is about $99, and the Merge, which is under $50. But overall, it seems like the Google Cardboard is the best one to promote accessibility of this technology. One area that I found some research on online was libraries in virtual worlds, specifically in Second Life. And if you're not familiar with Second Life, it's a virtual reality game in which users create an avatar, but unlike most games, there's not really a goal, something that people are striving towards. Instead, they're collaborating with people, they're creating things, they're essentially living virtual lives. And Second Life contains a number of libraries. Essentially, a number of librarians said, this is a great way to try to reach patrons. And so libraries were created to try to engage patrons both within Second Life and then hopefully within the real world as well when they are not currently using Second Life. And so there were a number of libraries created. The internet disagrees on how many are actually in existence in Second Life. But there were a number of interesting features that I found. For example, EBSCO gave virtual users a 2-month free trial to Consumer Health Database. The hope, I think, was that people would continue to subscribe to it in real life, but they tried to get people interested through the Second Life library. In addition, Second Life libraries have virtual exhibits for art or other things where users can walk through a virtual hall and see various exhibits that give them information about something that they're interested in. There are also library programs. I did find one calendar online that was for November 2017 that listed a number of book talks and discussion groups and so on. So things that users within Second Life could attend and contribute to. In addition, many librarians use the Second Life libraries for professional development. It's a chance to network with other librarians and to get ideas and to take those back to their own libraries. And finally, a lot of the libraries have a reference desk that's staffed by volunteers during certain hours. And so if anyone has a question, they can go to the library within Second Life and ask that question and have their question answered. So it works much like a reference desk at a regular library. As I said, one of the main goals of these libraries is patron outreach, trying to get people interested in using the library, both within Second Life and in the real world as well. And also, as I said, there's a lot of library networking that goes on as well. I also found some information about virtual storytelling. There's a company called Within that basically makes fiction and nonfiction films told through virtual reality. And so there isn't that much that's different between these films and regular movies, except for the fact that you're immersed in it. You can decide where to look, and it engages the viewer more fully than a regular movie. And so there was a lot of speculation online about how this might be used in libraries. One possibility is interactive storytelling. So allowing a viewer to control the pace or direction of the story to get them actively engaged. So kind of like a choose your own adventure, but with technology. And another use is possibly incorporating virtual reality elements into story time. So you can still read the story out loud to kids, but maybe they have virtual reality glasses that allows them to see certain aspects of the story as well and makes them feel like they're more involved in it. Yes, it would kind of detract from their ability to visualize based on words, but it might engage them and make them more interested in reading in general. There are also a number of virtual reality apps and experiences out there. Some examples I found included NASA Education, where a user can experience what it's like to ride in a spaceship, and then in conjunction with the video game system, control a robotic arm and get a sense of what it's like to complete actions like that in space. I also found some information on a virtual reality driver safety program. So not only do teens get to experience what it's like to drive in a safe way, because obviously it's a simulation, they're not going to crash, but they also can practice ignoring texts and friends who are distracting them from the back seat, etc. And so it teaches how to be safe and how to engage in safe behavior. We've already talked about virtual field trips and tours. I think most of us probably did our virtual field trip or tour on a two-dimensional experience where kids were basically looking at a computer screen. But imagine how much more powerful it would be if the kids felt as if they were actually immersed in the experience. I did mine on the Anne Frank House in Amsterdam, and it would be a lot better if they could feel kind of the three-dimensional experience and feel like they're actually within those rooms. It would just make them understand things a bit more fully. And in terms of future uses, I found some information that suggested that possibly in the future, virtual worlds that mimic authors' fictional worlds will be created. And in fact, that's already started. I found an interesting video on YouTube of a guy experiencing the world of Harry Potter. So there he is in the corner with his glasses, and the video showed the commands before he started the virtual tour. And he could do certain things to apparate and to cast certain spells as well. So it wasn't just looking around the castle of Hogwarts, it was actually acting and doing things within that world. And finally, I wanted to talk a little bit about augmented reality. So virtual reality makes you feel like you're completely in a virtual world, but augmented reality superimposes virtual features on top of reality. And you're usually doing that by looking through a smartphone or a tablet camera lens. And so you'll see what's actually in front of you, but superimposed on top of it will be some sort of augmentation. And there were a few examples cited for ways in which augmented reality could be useful in libraries. I know a lot of us have had the experience where a kid looks up a book on the online catalog and finds the book and then says, okay, where do I go in the library to find this? And then you have to show them. So instead of having to ask the librarian that question, the kid could just hold their phone in front of them and follow a colored line that could lead them to a particular book. Yes, it would probably destroy their alphabetization skills, but it would definitely eliminate a lot of the annoying questions that students ask. Another possibility is a library scavenger hunt. So I know a lot of us have probably done scavenger hunts where kids have had to discover various parts of the library. But imagine if they could then look at items in the library and then have augmented reality features superimposed on top of it. Maybe additional information, additional features, tips, and so on. Another possibility is that when they look at a book through a camera, through a tablet or smartphone camera, they might be able to see information about the book, like reader ratings, so they could know how their classmates rated it. And they might also be able to see book reviews, which might help them decide whether they want to read it or not. And the last feature on here is actually more of a help to librarians than it is to students. It was an app called ShelvAR, or Shelvar, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. And essentially you, as a librarian, could scan spine barcodes, and looking through your camera, you would see a green check mark if the book was in the right place, in the right order, and a red X on any that were out of place. And so it would be really easy to read shelves and make sure that everything is in order, because you would be able to see right away what was not in order and rearrange it so that it was. And so unfortunately, this app did not catch on commercially. Apparently someone had already created a patent for it, so that when they tried to sell it, there was some sort of legal issue. But the technology is out there, and I'm sure that even though the specific one didn't become a commercial product, I'm sure that fairly soon something like this will be available to librarians. And think of all the time that it would save. All right, that concludes the presentation. If you're interested, here are the references that I used, including the Harry Potter video, which is worth checking out. It's the last one on here. It's a little bit cheesy, but it is quite entertaining to watch. And overall, I hope I gave you some ideas about how virtual reality and augmented reality could be useful in a library setting, and I really look forward to seeing how much of that gets incorporated into libraries. Thank you very much for listening.